नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्येततारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we were hearing from the Kaliya pastime where Maharaj was very beautifully explaining all the incidents that happened in the past times with Kaliya. And from this session onwards, we will be hearing the conversation between the wives of Kaliya with Krishna, and in glorifying of Kaliya's wives, glorifying Lord Shri Krishna. So let me share my screen. So is it visible, my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Today is somebody's birthday in the audience. Vangsidari's birthday. And if I didn't say it, you would know it because he's not from Alachua. But he can still have your birthday in Alachua. That's okay. And compliments of Sri Vrindavan. She has something to remind me at the very beginning of class. Is there anyone, are there persons here who are not familiar with this Canto 10, Chapter 16, verses, 16 and 17, the Kaliya Lila? Anyone here not familiar with this pastime? Kind of the newer category. You're all been around. Okay. Just yesterday, I won't say who, but one of the participants in the program yesterday has a teenage daughter. I'll let you figure who that is. And she got a set of the Bhagavatams for herself, in addition to what their family has. So she now has her own personalized, hands off everybody else, Srimad Bhagavatam set. So this is, it's a universal, it's an all ISKCON promotion of Srimad Bhagavatam based upon one verse from Canto 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam, that on a certain Purnima, Bhadra Purnima, that if one is he lost? That should work for about 30 seconds. You're the star of the show, young man. What's his name? Madhav. Hi, Bo Madhav. He said what? Really? Well, he can understand his name, Madhava. Yeah, that's you. Let's see how it goes for the rest of the evening. What's that? Okay. If he starts to get a little fidgety, yeah. You don't have to go next door, but just chill him out a little bit. I think it's time already. Okay. So Srimad Bhagavatam, if anyone in the audience does not yet have a Bhagavatam, or knows somebody that doesn't have a Bhagavatam, or knows a relative or uncle or a distant somebody or other, you'd like to provide them with Srimad Bhagavatam, now's a good time. Of course, any time's a good time. But this is the Bhagavatam promotion part of today's presentation. So there's a set. You could take a whole set home with you if you like. Great. What's happening with the technology? It just went blank. What to do? Oh, Prabhupada. I've spent some time today and discovered from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu what was the reason why Balaram didn't go with Krishna on the day of the Kaliya Damana Lila. Why didn't he go? According to, there's a section of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that's describing the particular feelings of love that Balaram has for Krishna. It's, it's a whole list of persons that have special love for Krishna. Balaram is one. So Balaram, the explanation goes like this. Balaram had instructed I'm the elder brother, and I'm instructing you, don't go to Kaliya Lake today. Today is my birthday. And then the commentary explains that the system at the time was Rohini really liked doing rituals for the benefit of her son. So when the moon would go through the constellation of Balaram's birth star, she'd have a festival. Not his actual birthday, but in that constellation, the moon passes through, etc. But so that was it. It wasn't his actual birthday, because Jiva Goswami's commentary is it would be a big deal on his birthday, but Krishna wouldn't go anywhere on his birthday. But it was one of those days that even Balaram said, "Don't go." He went anyways. So that's why Balaram didn't go, because it was Rohini kept him back home. Shh, Madhava. Shh. Bye. He's cute, huh? Haribo. So this is part 4, and some of you may have missed parts 1 or 2 or 3, and they're all recorded, but a little summary. Part 1 was up to the point where Krishna was in the coils of the Kaliya serpent. The cowherd boys had, as if dead, they fainted to the ground after drinking water, because it's hot summer in Vrindavan. Krishna glanced at them. By his glance, they were revived. Krishna decided now is the time to get this poisonous serpent out of Vrindavan and out of the Jamuna River. So he jumped in the lake and started doing what he did and made a big ruckus, and Kaliya came to the surface. Who has come to my lake? and he saw Krishna. He didn't see beauty, he saw the object of his anger. So he tried to wrap him in his coils and bit him in his chest, and that was the end of part 1. Then part 2 was Krishna's in the coils of the Kaliya serpent, and there's this whole range of how people responded. We discussed this, it was stimulation of love by a danger. Commonly, the cowherd boys are in danger, and Krishna rescues them. This time, Krishna's in danger. What are they going to do? They fainted. They went. They did different. Their response was a whole range of response because the whole of Vrindavan got involved in this. And then the end of that second section, after Krishna had elevated their intensity of their love to the max, or it looked like they were going to die, he decided, okay, enough of this. And then that's the end of that section. The next section, he slipped, section 3, he slipped from the coils of the Kaliya serpent. He made himself big because he had mystic powers. He made himself really big, and the Kaliya couldn't bear the strain of his coils, so he released Krishna, and then Krishna started moving around and around and around and got him dizzy and fatigued, and then he jumped up on the hoods of the Kaliya serpent and started dancing, the celebrated pastime with 1,001 different paintings of Krishna dancing on the hoods of the Kaliya serpent. Very creative artwork. Smashing his hoods, smashing his hoods, smashing his hoods. He started vomiting fire, he started vomiting blood. Blood was coming from his eyes. He was nearly dead. And then the wives of the Kaliya serpent came forward. So that's where we are, part 4. The prayers of the wives of the Kaliya serpent. That's today, this evening. And they're very elevated prayers because they're very elevated devotees. And we'll see a little bit more. Here's this recording from this very nice, there's only a few verses from this set of prayers by Rupa Goswami honoring Kaliya Lila. Here's one of them. Let's see if it works. It didn't work.
कामं दामोदर मम मना पन्नगपीनभोगो कामं दामोदर मम मना पन्नगपीनभोगो दुष्टासिभिः कुटिलवलनै शोभयत्येष लोकम् दुष्टासिभिः कुटिलवलनैः शोभयत्येष लोकम् तद्विक्रान्तस्त्वमुदितपद द्वन्द्वपङ्केरुहाकम् तद्विक्रान्तस्त्वमुदितपद द्वन्द्वपङ्केरुहाकम् कुर्वन्तर्वीकर दमनहे ताण्डवे दण्डयामि कुर्वन्तर्वीकर
O Lord Krishna, with its crooked motions and the sharp fangs of its wicked desires, the great snake of my mind torments the entire world. O all-powerful Lord, O crusher of Kaliya, please punish that snake with your dancing. Please place on it the mark of your lotus feet. We're going to hear more about the lotus feet. It's in the prayers of the wives. So Krishna accepts the prayers of the Naga Patnis. Patnis is the wives of the serpent Naga Patnis. Here's Sridhar Swami identifying there's 3 parts. 6 verses. They express their agreement with the punishment. Then the next 10 verses, very sweet, they offer obeisances to Lord Hari in different ways. And then finally, the wives submit their prayerful request, like deliver our husband. So the first 6 verses are their expressions of the mercy that's built into what he just did. Like it was appropriate, and it wasn't just punishment, it was mercy. There's punishment, but there's mercy. Because you took away all of his sinfulness by the punishment. So Sridhar Swami again, first trying to pacify the Lord by acknowledging the correctness of his giving punishment, they offered prayers. In the verse beginning, Nyaya. So here's the Sanskrit of each of these first 6 verses isn't given, but it's okay. You've given just punishment that's for our ultimate benefit. So here's the translation. The punishment this offender has been subjected to is certainly just. After all, you have incarnated within the world to curb down envious and cruel persons. So these there must be a explanation, but I don't ask me what the explanation is, because the answer is I don't know. How did these ladies, who are pure devotee personalities, marry Kaliya? He's a bad guy. At least it seems like. But anyway, they're pure devotees, and their prayers reveal their devotion, including to their husband, but to the personality of Godhead. They understand who he is, to curb down the envious and cruel persons. You came for that purpose, so it's appropriate. Continuing with the translation, you are so impartial that you look equally upon your enemies and your own sons. For when you, he's just a little boy, so he doesn't have sons yet. For when you impose a punishment on a living being, you know it to be for his ultimate benefit. That's the first of their prayers. Knowingly, it's the benefit of our husband that you just did this. This is Vishwanath. So your real purpose, though your real purpose is distribution of prema bhakti, that is accomplished with the punishment of the wicked. So he awakened, the end result is Kaliya became a lover of Krishna. The bad stuff was taken away, and beneath the bad stuff was his wonderful position. Here's commentary by several acharyas. His punishment is proper because he committed sins against Garuda, against the living entities in the Yamuna and in Vrindavan, and thus against you. Because you give just punishment, you have appeared to punish the afflictors of the devotees. You have also come to give mercy to the devotees. So punishment and mercy, both. If you did not appear, there would be no punishment for the evil and no mercy for the devotees. So when you come, you're doing this for this and that for that, and it's perfectly appropriate. You equal towards your enemies and sons. Thus, though you punish the wicked, you do not hate them. So the behavior is different than the person. And that's clear. I mean, that's our philosophy, but sometimes we don't live by our philosophy. We hate the person or have ill feeling towards the person. And when someone gets into that kind of a mood, it's really hard to check it. I know some people like that, and you can say it nicely, you can say it strongly, you can say it mildly, you can say it, you can ask it, you can, nobody's home. So what to do? What to do? You give the results which cure the wicked of their nature by giving them hellish punishment and then giving them eternal happiness. That's commentary. Now here's the next of this first 6 verses. Since it is for our ultimate welfare, it's nothing but your mercy. So you're giving mercy to the devotee, but you're giving mercy to us by freeing our husband from this wickedness that's within him. What you have done here is actually mercy for us, since the punishment you give certainly drives away all their, that's in this case the person being punished or their husband, the contamination is being driven away. They understand it. I mean, they witnessed it. The fire was coming, and then the blood was coming, and poison was coming, and he was completely clean by the end of the dancing activities. Our husband is so sinful that he assumed the body of a serpent. Your anger towards him is obviously to be understood as your mercy. So mercy towards him means mercy towards us, because they're faithful wives. Brihat Bhagavatamrita comments on this particular prayer by saying that only great souls like Garuda can have the honor of being the Supreme Lord's carrier. So he became, for at least for a while, the Lord's carrier, the dancing stage. Sridhar Swami. Thus, the punishment which eradicated the sinfulness due to that birth is indeed mercy, even though it appears to be a manifestation of anger. Now, Kaliya was certainly, there's many expressions of it, his anger towards Krishna. And it looked like Krishna became angry towards him. Well, angry at least that he had contaminated the Yamuna River and, get out of town. So angry that he had contaminated the river Jamuna and was causing disruption for everybody and everything in the vicinity. The birds flying over, too much poisonous fumes, they would fall into the lake or into the river just from the poison of the fumes and all the vegetation around, etc., etc., etc. So Krishna was angry at that, transcendently angry. Srila Madhvacharya points out in this connection that when a pious person suffers in this world, he realizes the punishment the Supreme Lord is meting out to me is actually his causeless mercy. Now, pious persons realize this. This is BBT commentary. Envious persons, however, even after being punished by the Lord for their purification, continue to envy him and be resentful. And this attitude is the reason for their continued failure to understand the absolute truth. So the problems that Kaliya had were deep and hard to eradicate. You show mercy to us because punishment of the wicked uproots the bad desires completely. That is directly experienced by us. This is the wives indicating. Taking away the offensive snake body of Kaliya, who identified with his body is seen here by surrender and appearance of intelligence, even anger, the cause of punishment is mercy. Now, it wasn't anger. He wasn't punishing him because of anger. He was punishing him because it was disruptive of the whole of Vrindavan. Taking away his sins is not punishment. You remained in his coils, then you danced in joy on his hoods, apparently in anger. So here's a nice AI graphic of Krishna receiving the prayers of the wives of the Kaliya serpent. Of course, there are different ways of how do you draw a female that's married to a serpent. Now, sometimes they have the upper part of their body is human-like, and the lower part is serpent-like, like this one. So the third of these 6 verses. What's the cause of this causeless mercy of yours? Did our husband carefully perform austerities in a previous life? And commentary. I am not pleased with wealth or with tapas. Regular tapas does not invoke Krishna's mercy in this way. So if it wasn't austerities, perhaps he performed these austerities with his mind free of pride and full of respect for others. This sort of austerity can be performed only by Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna. Any of the devotees would like to share any realizations? What you liked in today's session, or any questions? Sharbri Mataji, is it?
Hare Krishna Mataji. It's very, very nice. I mean, it's so nice to see how elevated the Nagapatnis were. The prayers that they were keeping, they were really very, very pure devotees. And so I was also wondering how come such pure devotees, they were married to someone like Kaliya. Very nice. Mataji, very, very nice. And also I liked when Maharaj shared that a teenage daughter took an entire set of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that was very nice. I like that too. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. That- Was it a question, Mataji, that you asked? How did
No, because Maharaj in the beginning himself, he said, please don't ask me that question because I don't know the answer. So it's not a question. It was just wondering that something, maybe Krishna has his reason, but Maharaj doesn't know means no one should be in a position to answer, I guess. It's just a statement, Mataji, not a question.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Channakeshwar Prabhu, is there? Prabhu, you want to share anything?
Mataji, I'm not on and off available today. I'm in service actually. I'm just hearing Mataji. Thank you.
Okay, no problem, Prabhu. Thank you. Shama Vallavi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
हरि बोल माता जी धन्यवाद Yeah, it was so nice when Maharaj was giving the recap of everything, the full Kaliya pastime. I felt like I missed something, but today I felt, wow, nice. It was so nice. Uh, uh, when Kaliya's wives were praying Krishna, that thank you for saving my husband by taking away the bad qualities from him. It was nice, Mataji. Like I feel like if someone else pray for me, so that I also get the opportunity to get the grace of the Lord and purify myself, because I know I cannot do on my own, but prayers of others will help in purifying myself. That that kind of feeling I got, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, for sharing it. It was really nice. Hare Krishna, Deedlalit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. So this entire episode of so I was just thinking from the perspective of the Nagapatnis. So if you see that these Nagapatnis, they are all devotees, and then they married someone who is a non-devotee, and on top of that, he's having a lot of bad stuff in him. And how they have the Nagapatnis actually, dealt with the situation throughout their life. So many times we see that, I mean, in ISKCON you have seen many that, let's say, husband is devotee, but wife is not favorable, or wife is devotee, but husband is not favorable. So many examples that we have seen. And here I'm seeing this Nagapatni, how one should deal with the situation if my partner is not favorable to Krishna consciousness or Krishna bhakti. That all these years until Krishna came into their life, they were first very firm in their devotion to the Supreme Lord, because they never had interaction with Krishna, but still they were very firm in their devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and at the same time tolerating this her their husband, and uh, when Krishna came, uh, they were like completely dependent on Krishna. So that is something which one should learn, that okay, if some situation is not favorable, we still stick to our devotional service, and at the same time we depend more on the Supreme Lord, that our the surrounding family members, maybe children or husband or wife, also take up to Krishna consciousness. So when we do our bhakti in, so when the situations are not favorable, in like how the Nagapatnis were there, and we depend on the holy name, on the mercy of the Supreme Lord and the devotees at the same time, then Krishna becomes very kind, and then he will manifest in his own way and make the things as favorable, and he can change in the heart of the family members also. So that is something, Mataji, I was trying to draw parallels from this pastime versus what we see in the current age sometimes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing that. Rajeshwari Pran Mataji. Hare Krishna Yogal Kishore Prabhu. Would you like to share anything, Prabhu, from today's session?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Um, there are a couple of points which is so nice from the narration from His Holiness from Pastor Maharaj, and also the pastimes. The first point that which really nicely come out of that, bhakti sanjayate bhakti. It is only for a devotee that who has a bhakti for Lord Sri Krishna that can actually incite bhakti in the other person's heart. So Kaliya, until the point that the prayers were coming from the Nagapatnis, that his love for Krishna was not aroused. It is only by the prayers of Nagapatni that aroused. So it shows the role of a devotee in our life. When we start practicing Krishna consciousness, because of that, we have some attraction. Because of that attraction, we engage into service that creates more attraction. This loop continues, perpetuating, self-perpetuating. But where does it begin? Actually, it begins that today, in these pastimes, we can understand it is only by the bhakta, who has love for our dear Lord Sri Krishna, that because of that, it arouses bhakti in the heart of other devotee. And the second point, which Maharaj always says that, and it's a very learning point personally for me, is that differentiate or don't tag the behavior to the person. So in a biblical language is the hate the sin, but not the sinner. And personally, I find it's very difficult as soon as something happens. So the tagging of that person with that behavior, it's so easy for me. So very wonderful learning from His Holiness Rumpas and Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing it. It was nice. Shweta Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, you want to share something?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Nothing is special today. I was just enjoying the session and the realization from the devotees. So
Thank you, Mataji.
nothing. Hare Krishna.
Kumarika Mataji, would you like to share, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
No, Mataji, not today.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Shamkun Prabhu. Prabhu, would you like to share your points, Prabhu, here?
Well, primarily it was more what you did, Lalita Prabhu and Yugal Kishore Prabhu said. I liked what they said, Mataji. And that's it, Mataji, for today.
Thank you so much. All right. If no other questions or in no other sharing, can we close this session for today? वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हिज होलीनेस